Amorim calls up multiple youth players at Manchester United to first team training as they're a little bit short. Now, there is rumours of Amad being injured. We'll discuss the latest on that. We're going to see what's actually been said in regards to Chido Obi. Could he be making his debut? What's Ruben Amorim said on that? What's the potential plan for the youth players? Could there be a debut for Heaven? Dorgu, could he make his Premier League debut? We're also going to talk about sort of the situation United's in, why we're in a bit of a mess. Ruben Amorim sort of reveals the mess that United are in terms of the transfer market. We've also been linked to Victor Osimhen again by another source. Looks like there's definitely something maybe going on there. One to watch, especially with the Gyökeres blow that we got yesterday. Anthony scores again. We'll talk about his loan deal and a couple of Ruben Amorim's other comments. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup, where I'm rounding up all the latest Manchester United news for you guys into a 10-minute video. So this is what's been said in regards to Chido. Ruben Amorim said this on potentially drafting academy players such as Chido Obi. He said, "I don't want to say names. We have to be careful about that. We have problems this week, so we called some young players to be in our training, and we have some data evaluation. He is one of them." Obi was called into training. He was one of the few young players that were called into training because there was shortages, because there's players out. There's a couple of players with a knock, and that's what he said. Now, what you got to remember is, with Obi Martinez, he's great. He's performing great at under 18s level, but it's a very different level to first team level. And because of his good performances at under 18s level, he could be rewarded with maybe 10 minutes off the bench here and there to see what he can do. But there's no expectation from anyone at United for Obi Martinez to be starting week in, week out for United. I know Højlund's been poor, I know Xerxes been poor, but Obi Martinez for like 3-4 years' time to come through. He's 17. He might not be in his prime for 10 years. He's one of those players that we might see come through in 3 years' time and be a good young player. But, you know, Ruben Amorim isn't going to rush that. He might be an option 10 minutes off the bench, but it's more like we're 3-0 up, let's give Obi his debut for 10 minutes, not we're 3-0 down, let's chuck Obi on. You know, he's so young, and while they like him and while they really rate him, there's rawness. If you've watched him at under 18s level, there's still some rawness in his game. As great as there's still some rawness as there would be. And he could be an unbelievable striker. But there's also, United aren't going to rush him. You know, he could be rewarded with minutes, but it's not he's going to be thrown in and all of a sudden start games, which some people seem to think. But there's an opportunity there, and I wouldn't be shocked if he's on the bench and maybe he gets a 10-minute cameo here and there where he's on the bench and he doesn't feature, like Kokonki earlier on. You know, he trained with the Manchester United first team this week. He's had a very good game in the Youth Cup. He's highly rated by the club, but the club also where he's 17. And they don't want to throw him into games in a poor environment where he loses confidence. People start giving him a stick because he's not performing at 17 years of age. Because you see Paul Scholes going on about Lenny Yoro having a bad game against Southampton when Lenny Yoro had a very good game against Arsenal and Liverpool, and Lenny Yoro is 19 and that was his third ever Premier League start post-injury. You know, Chido has 2 bad games at 17. There will be people in mainstream media criticising a 17-year-old. You know, that's why United want to be careful, because you don't get that kind of protection. It was said that Chido Obi and Patrick Dorgu have created a companionship with both players, spotted with each other multiple times throughout this week. Seem to be doing well, seem to be getting on. But what do we know about United's youth? So obviously Collier is the most likely youth player to feature because he's started games, he's played games. He's the one, because he's 21 or 20, I think he's just turned 21, is most ready because of his running stats. And that's where Ruben Amorim's brought him in, because Ten Hag was in the process of moulding him in anyway. Heaven is included due to Martinez's injury. Heaven will probably be in every match they score from now to the end of the season because of Martinez's injury. But actually, Heaven, who was seen as an option that was going to be on the bench, could actually be a player that actually gets quite a few minutes for United because he's the backup to Lissandro Martinez. I think it will be Yoro left centre-back, and I think it will be Mazraoui right centre-back with De Ligt and Maguire rotating for central centre-back, and sometimes Yoro rotating and Mazraoui rotating. Maybe Delo's even tried at right centre-back at times. But I think Heaven every now and then will get in at left centre-back and be given maybe 10 minutes off the bench here and there to see how he does. Kokonki could make it on the bench, but with the addition of Ayden Heaven, I don't see it happening so much. But he's one that's often called into first-team training. Obi Martin, next player that could be named on the bench. I heard this behind the scenes that Amorim appreciates Jack Morehouse, a player that's not spoken about a lot, but apparently Ruben Amorim quite likes the midfielder, so that could be one to watch. But yeah, I think right now in terms of getting on the bench, it's going to be strikers and it's going to be defenders, because that's where we're quite thin. Many under 18s players are highly rated, but they're not considered ready. Lacey and Mantato are highly rated, but they've only just returned from injury. Lacey isn't even ready to play 90 minutes for the youth level yet. So as good as he is, not ready. Now, this is the issue, because if Amad Diallo is injured, we're pretty screwed in attack. And there's rumours coming out, and I'm not really sure where, but a lot of people are talking about it. People have been messaging me, Alice, is Amad injured? Is Amad injured? In regard to that. So there was rumours circulating yesterday that Amad was out training because he was injured or ill, but it was just a doubt for Tottenham. He was out training. And when asked, Amorim did confirm there were injuries, but he didn't name anyone. He just said, yeah, we've got injuries, we've got people missing in training, but he's not named anyone. I think the fact that he's not named anyone is worrying because, you know, Amad's such a key player and they might take the risk and play Amad. But if Tottenham know that Amad was a risk to play, they might try and kick him and he comes off in the first half injured. But there's a lot of speculation that Amad Diallo is out injured. But I'm going to tell you this, there's no reliable source saying that Amad is injured. It's someone on Twitter said that Amad was injured. Amad then wasn't seen at training. Ruben Amorim said we're missing a few guys at training. We don't know if it's illness. We don't know if he's had a day off. We don't know if he was at training and just wasn't spotted. But there is speculation going around that Amad is injured, which worries me a little bit because if Amad's injured, who the hell? I mean, we play Bruno as a 10, I guess. If Amad's injured, would it be Bruno as a 10, Xerxes as a striker, Garnacho on the left, and maybe get Maino back in the pivot with Agate? I guess that's what we'd have to do. And then Dorgu could be one of the wing backs. But it would be a massive blow because, you know, he's such an important player. Anyway, let's continue on into other stories. So Ruben Amorim was asked about transfers, which is crazy because the transfer window's months away, but there's a lot of transfer news. And he said it's simple. To do something we need to sell in the summer, we will see. We're a mess right now financially. And while I don't like the way that Ineos have gone about things, that certain things are having to do because of the mess we are in financially. We've sacked managers, wasted 30 million on the Dan Ashworth Ten Hag situation, bringing Amorim in. We spent 200 million in the summer. We're crap. We need to completely rebuild. But to do that, we need to sell. That's why I think Marcus Rashford going out on loan is more to do than just training performances. I think he's being forced out. Lindelof and Ayden Heaven will go on a free and wage relief, so that could save up like 10 million. Same with Eriksen. I forgot to add Eriksen to that. Eriksen, Lindelof, Heaton, and Evans will save up £10 million a year. Casemiro could bring in £15 million and give us €18 million in wages, which could free up £30 million. Marcus Rashford could free up 40 million and 13 million in wages, which could be £53 million. Jadon Sancho, £25 million, plus he's on 5 million a year from us. That's £30 million. We've also got a loan fee for Sancho. Anthony, 20 million plus wage relief, which could again then be 25, 30 million saved. And Malacia, I believe, could go for around 10 million. So there's money that can be raised. Garnacho could go, Xerxes could go, Højlund could go. There's money that could be raised because everybody knows United need a wide channel left centre back. They need another wing back. They need a midfielder that's comfortable on the ball that can play in the pivot. They need a ball carrier left hand like Acuna and Morgan Rogers type player. And they need a striker. And to do that, sales need to happen. There's talk of Shaw and Mount being for sale, but I don't think anyone's going to buy them with their injury record. Now, talking of investment, we need to spend big on a striker. Delap is the most linked, but Gyökeres and Ostenhem is probably the big player that United need. Victor Osimhen is on Manchester United's radar and he has admirers at the club. He's expected to leave Napoli in the summer and is ready for a challenge in European football. I think it's one to watch. Gyökeres may want Champions League football. Victor Ostenhem may be a bit different. You know, he just wants out of Napoli. He's done his year at Galatasaray, got humbled a bit in the summer. Victor Ostenhem could be one that's like, yeah, I just want to play for a big, big club. I mean, Galatasaray is a big club, but you know what I mean? I think this is one where we could maybe attract him, but I think we'll be battling with Chelsea. You know, there's Gyökeres, there's Ostenhem, and I think United and Chelsea could be battling for those players. You know, Arsenal want a striker. I think they're going to get Sesko. There's a lot of top clubs that will be looking for a striker, so it's going to be a difficult market. Now, talking of selling players, the best thing we can have is Rashford smashing it at Villa and Anthony smashing it at Real Betis on loan. So Anthony scored a brilliant goal outside the box yesterday in the Conference League, and he's been fantastic so far at Real Betis. He's got 2 goals in 3 games and 2 man of the match performances in 3 games, which is actually more than Sancho at Chelsea, believe it or not. But I think this is a good thing. Now, Anthony did really well in his first 3 games at Man United, so he could drop off at Real Betis. He's playing against Ghent and he's playing in a more sustainable environment that suits his attributes, and he's playing in a weaker league where he gets more space and time. So obviously Anthony's going to do better. I think getting out the Man United environment probably helps some elements of that, but if Anthony can keep doing well and keep scoring, we might be able to get some money for him. I want Anthony to start playing like Vinicius Jr. and Rafinha. That's what I want to see. And hopefully we do. And then last but not least, Ruben Amorim was asked about Manchester United's goal of winning the Premier League by 2028. And he said that we talk about that inside the club. Our focus is to win the Premier League and we can change everything in a few years. In this moment, we're in a difficult position, but we're working every day to focus on that goal of winning the Premier League. So that is the 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. I'm just going to make sure nothing's come out in this last 10 minutes while I've been recording. Doesn't look like it as well. Oh, actually, a new story has come out about PSG Chief Revenue Officer Mark Armstrong is set to join Manchester United. So someone from PSG is set to join United. So I'll do some research on him and there'll be a video on that tomorrow. So we've got breaking news coming out from Andy Mitten. No update on Ahmad's injury. So hopefully there isn't an injury. It's just rumours as well. And yeah, big up everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye.